So odd. Well, for some reason, whenever I try to stream on YouTube, it always tells me I'm supposed to have like 24,000 bitrate, but every other platform only wants like 6 to 10,000. But I'm streaming at the same bitrate, but right now it's like excellent connection, good bitrate, this and that, and I'm like, it's the same as it always is.
Yeah, it hasn't changed. YouTube is inconsistent, but that's because it's run by a fucking woman. I mean, what do you expect from a platform?
Oh, there it goes. YouTube is not receiving enough video. Hey, if YouTube buys me another PC that I can use just for streaming, hell yeah, I will definitely stream at whatever bitrate they want, but they don't fucking do that shit, so I'm not gonna bother. Sorry, YouTube, you don't get it love until the VOD comes out. Alright, guys. So, I got some catching up to do on WoW Remix content, so I'm probably going to be watching about an hour and a half worth of videos so far from what I've seen. Doing the deep dive first, then going to the Q&A. Deep dives, 31 minutes. Q&A is like 50 to 55 minutes. I'm just wanting to get caught up on what's going to be coming. So, we will be seeing. What? I can't even hear it. Oh, the music? No, that's fine.
What's up, everybody? Here at the end of The War Within, the first dramatic chapter of the World Soul Saga, we've seen the adventure take us into the depths of the world, and even to worlds cast out in the great dark beyond. We've seen our villain Xal'atath running around and amassing untold power. We've seen her siphon the energies of Dalaran, and even those of the black blood beneath Azj-Kahet. And recently, Xal'atath assumed the power of the last Void Lord, Dimensius. So the question remains, what will she do with all that power? And what are her intentions relative to our precious?
First of all, obviously she's going to go straight for the Sunwell. Because at the end of the day, she was some form of elf before she became a Void Elf. And typically Void Elves are stemmed from the Blood Elves who wanted to take a new form of energy that is no longer the Sunwell. So they started taking into a Void-like energy. I don't know if anybody's ever played the campaign to unlock the Void Elves, you go to the Sunwell because the Void corrupted it. And then some choose to stick with the Void energy and to go to, I believe, the Tethalogius Rift to continue to siphon Void energy to master the dark energy instead of the Sunwell. So what I'm assuming she's going to do is she wants to corrupt the Sunwell with Void energy to turn all Blood Elves into Void Elves. Because that's what had happened before. She wants to get rid of the light, which would include priests, paladins, and there was like one other. But that was the whole opening scenario or cinematic for Midnight itself, where they were at the Sunwell in Silvermoon, talking about like the power of the light protects me, this and that, and yeah. So I'm gonna go back to watching this. Sorry, I don't want to be like interrupting it repetitively, but I just figured I'd like throw in what my 2 cents are about it.
World Soul. So now, as midnight descends, and the second, darker chapter of our trilogy begins, Xal'atath has returned to Azeroth, leading an army known as the Devouring Host, intent on snuffing out the light of the Sunwell and plunging the world into darkness. You, the heroes of Azeroth, will be set on a collision course with Xal'atath to save not only Azeroth itself, but everything that is.
Hi everyone. As we kick off our Midnight Alpha, we'd like to give you all a deep dive into what's in store. We want to recap everything we've
Yo,
shared
what's
so
up,
far,
Ashley?
along with some brand new details.
I'm just getting caught up
Today,
on
we're going to talk about the
Wild
story of
Midnight information,
as well as the zones, dungeons,
because they've got a beta test coming out on Tuesday, I believe.
We're also going to talk about some big new features coming in Midnight, like Prey and the Devourer Demon Hunter specialization. And of course, let's not forget housing. Thank you so much for joining us today. And as always, thank you for being a part of this amazing community, for choosing to spend your time.
Yeah, not too much, just watching stuff.
Now, without further
I'm gonna be
ado,
switching over
let's
to
see
actually
what's in
playing
store for our
later.
home away from home. After all, it's nearly midnight.
The void storm rages in the sky, a surging vortex of shadow and chaos. Xal'atath has returned. Wielding the dark heart, she carves a path of destruction through once tranquil lands. Her all-consuming goal, devour the heavens, blot out all light, and bring about her midnight. It is in the shadow of this swirling storm that the defenders of Azeroth must rally once more. For peace, for the light, for the good. This is not a battle. It is a reckoning. At the Sunwell, that eternal bastion of light and hope, Lady Liadrin and Lord Themar Theron lead the Blood Elves as they prepare to make their final stand. Because across all worlds and all stories, one thing never changes. Home is worth fighting for. Welcome to World of Warcraft Midnight. Your story begins on the Isle of Quel'Danas. In the immediate aftermath of Xal'atath's invasion, the Sunwell surges with light, calling out to all heroes of Azeroth for aid, while the vile creatures of the Void wage a relentless assault in the hopes of extinguishing it once and for all. Flying monstrosities attack from darkened skies, and malign foes manifest without warning to wreak havoc across the plateau. Stand true with the champions of Azeroth as they mount a desperate defense against this invasion. For if the Sunwell falls, so too does the world. The defense of the sun.
I will say what's crazy though is the fact that they claim that the Sunwell, if the Sunwell falls, the whole world does. But Blood Elves and the Sunwell didn't come out until Burning Crusade, which was the first actual expansion for World of Warcraft to my knowledge. So to think that they had an entire 10 years where they didn't even know that there was something that they had to protect, and they fucking got lucky with it not getting destroyed. That's funny for me to think about. But anyways.
Sunwell leads you directly into Silvermoon City. But not the one you know. The renewed light of the Sunwell symbolizes Silvermoon's revitalization, shining over a city fully restored to a thrumming, living capital. Familiar landmarks gleam with fresh polish, while new areas like the Sanctum of Light and the Garden of Remembrance offer countless nooks and stories to explore. Inside the city walls, the threat of Xalatath's war draws the Alliance and Horde into wary cooperation, with shared spaces hosting common services like trainers, the auction house, vendors, and more. Around a third of the city remains off-limits to those under the Lion's banner, so the Alliance allegiant should tread lightly or risk being attacked on sight. Outside the city walls, however, is where your role in the fight against the Void really begins to take shape. The strength of the Sunwell infuses Eversong Woods with restorative energy, healing much of the damage of wars past and filling the zone with new growth and new life.
So that means the death scar brought by, I believe it was Arthas, when he created the Banshees. You guys got to keep in mind, Sylvanas used to be a blood elf, or a high elf, or something like that. And, she was in the war trying to protect Silvermoon in, I believe, what was it, the first or second war? And that one was against Arthas Menethil, the like one of the, I think the original Lich King. And that's why there's a whole fucking dead patch that goes from the Ghostlands all the way up to the island of, I believe it was Keldanas, where there's nothing but skeletons, ghouls, ghosts, just undead, and they're always at war with it, trying to protect the Sunwell, because those undead, they're trying to get, they were remainingly trying to get to it. Thanks for your input.
I don't listen to nerds.
Clearly you do, because you just listen to me. But with them saying that the newly strengthened Sunwell healed Eversong Woods, I'm wondering if that extended to the Ghostlands too. Because the dead scar stretches really far. It might actually reach the Plague Lands, which is where the Death Knights were. If you've ever played the Death Knight starting area. But anyways.
All of what you remember of this lush, thriving forest is here. But Eversong is also a reimagined landscape of increased scale and greater beauty. Most noticeably, the Ghostlands and Eversong Woods are now joined into one large zone, which is itself joined to the Eastern Kingdoms. Eversong's flourishing fluorescence is not without complication. Though the Sunwell's light is a boon to the environment, its surging power causes pockets of light bloom, small groves of light-enriched growth, to experience surges of their own. The light bloom's rampant propagation, if left unchecked, threatens to smother all life under an overgrown tangle. Your adventures through Eversong will have you investigating the Light Bloom, dealing with the aftermath of a Hawkstrider chick gone wild, helping a suspicious apothecary with questionable motives, untangling the secrets of two feuding nobles, and even getting caught up in a sinister murder plot, alongside Magister Umbric as he works to crack the secrets of the Void.
Of course, the Fel makes a comeback. Why wouldn't it? It's inescapable.
Your story progresses beyond Eversong Woods, with 3 available paths you can tackle in any order. Brave the ancient troll kingdom of Zulaman. Investigate the gnarled hidden roots of Harandar. Or accompany Arator on his journey to better understand the light, the void, and himself. Zulaman finds the Amani troll empire at one of its lowest points. The homeland of warlord Zuljin, Zulaman was once a place where Loa bestowed to the Amani their godly strength, and were devoutly revered in kind. The temples still stand, weathered but proud. The eagle, the lynx, the dragonhawk, and the bear. Ascend windswept skyscraping peaks, explore ruins shrouded in fog, traverse stormy wilds teeming with vicious beasts, and accompany Zuljara, granddaughter of Zuljin, and the pragmatic pillar of strength now leading the Amani, as she seeks a
I didn't know. No, hold on. You can't just glaze past that. I didn't know Zuljin even had kids, because he died, if it's the Zuljin that I'm thinking, he was the warlord who died during Legion because he got fucking stabbed in the back by a Fellblade. And he was able to live long enough to hear the Loa spirits tell him to put fucking Sylvanas in charge, and then Sylvanas ruined everything. Like, what the fuck? I'm convinced that those Loa spirits were not Loa spirits, it was Banshee spirits, and the call of the jailer whispering to him because he was on death's door. Because that led straight into Shadowlands. Because what had happened was after when Legion first started, Zuljin died, put Sylvanas in charge. Sylvanas was in charge during Legion. Sylvanas was going out of her way to do sketchy ass shit, trying to kill Aegir, what is she called? She's a Titan who had similar to like the Banshees, who could like carry people away and stuff. And Gen Greymane, the Worgen King guy, was going out of his way to keep her from doing that stuff because nobody would fucking believe him when he was like, Sylvanas is a danger, and that's why they've been at war, the undead, or the Forsaken, or whatever, and the Worgens, they have been at war for pretty much the entirety of both of their existence, because they both came out, I believe, around Wrath of the Lich King or something like that. Which I believe they came out earlier than that, but I think they weren't playable until Wrath, if I'm remembering correctly. Because Blood Elves and Draenei became playable, I believe, during Burning Crusade. And then, because Sylvanas was capturing people like Anduin Wrynn, Bane Bloodhoof, Thrall, I think, and I think it was Jaina. She like grabbed them out of their capitals and then took them straight to the Shadowlands, and then from the Shadowlands took them to the Maw to imprison them with the jailer because they were in cahoots. So like, I'm trying to figure out, I've always wondered why Zuljin was told to put Sylvanas in charge when the first thing Zuljin says to Sylvanas is, I never liked you, I never trusted you, but for some reason the Loa spirits whisper to me, telling me one name, Sylvanas. That is so stupid, and that's never been I don't think that's ever been actually explained. If it has been explained, somebody fucking tell me, whether it's in the comments or in the chat right now. Because that's never made sense to me. But I'm gonna end up making this take like 3 hours to watch all these because I keep pausing it. We're only 8 minutes in.
Her people, from void-aligned cultists and the monsters they revere. The Amani are invaluable allies in the defense against Xalatath's invading force. If you help them fight for their home, they will help you fight for yours. At the confluence of the world tree's roots lies an impossible primordial jungle known as Harandar. It is here that Azeroth's entire history wraps, twists, and braids, a literal entanglement of all that has been and all that will be. Harandar is a land of magical, powerful growth. Fungal towers, glowing moss bridges, and entire villages sprout from Harandar's wild, organic fabrics. The pulsing heart of this knotted tangle is the cradle, once the domain of a nascent goddess, long vanished, and now the home of the Haranir, who have for generations lived secretly under its soothing light. The reclusive Haranir are a proud and insular people. They have long avoided interfering in matters of the world above, but Xalatath's destructive ambition does not stop at the surface, and the Haranir can no longer afford the luxury of neutrality. There is another way you can help with the defense of Azeroth against Xalatath's cruel machinations. Accompany Eretor, son of Turalyon,
Hurry to the void.
Windrunner, on a continent-spanning journey in the hopes of bolstering the Sunwell and strengthening the vanguard of the light. This story-driven adventure finds you traveling with Eretor as he searches for sacred relics and attempts to peel back the mysteries of the void, all while grappling with his own relationships to his family and the light. Eretor's mission brings new experiences to familiar locations. Defend Light's Hope Chapel from an...
The weirdest concept they just threw in my face out of nowhere. That is the weirdest concept. Turalyon, who is like the staple of the light, and then Illyria, who is like the staple of the void, had a kid together? Not only that, but Illyria is a fucking windrunner. You know, like Sylvanas. It is so weird the direction that the different windrunners went. They all went like polar opposites of each other. But I guess that's kind of how sisters work, isn't it? They try to be as different from each other as possible. This game took that to a whole different level. So you got Sylvanas Windrunner, who is like the Banshee Queen. You've got Illyria Windrunner, who is like the Queen of the Void. And I swear there is one more Windrunner. I'm not gonna lie. I just thought of something. Zul'jin did not hear the name Sylvanas. All he heard was Windrunner, and he assumed it was the one that was on their side. What if it was Illyria? Or there was a third one, I believe. What if it was one of those two that was supposed to be put in charge of the Horde? And then having somebody that was not originally part of the Horde taking control of it would have actually brought more peace, instead of Sylvanas being put in charge, going straight to war with everybody. Also, when the fuck are they gonna like reconstruct Gilneas? Because they hinted at that. Because the Forsaken destroyed Gilneas. And then the Forsaken destroyed their own capital of Undercity. But that happened about 8 years later. So I'm wondering if it was a different Windrunner that was being whispered to Zul'jin, but he was dying, so he couldn't fully understand the spirits that he normally can. That's a question. I didn't even think about that. Because the polar opposites concept made me just now think of that. And the fact that Illyria and Turalyon had a kid who's apparently all grown up now, so it must have taken a minute. Weird. They're like connecting everything, but also like making it a little bit more confusing at the same time. Right now I'm looking at Light's Hope Chapel with fucking Arceus, the Ebonhold of the Death Knights, right above it, which is where it's supposed to be, because this is in the Plague Lands, or at least close to it.
Attack by Scourge forces. Fight through the darkened corridors of Scarlet Monastery to put to rest those who would pervert the light for their own nefarious gain, and work with Sunwalker Desco in Hammerfall to help Eretor in discovering the paladin he aspires to become. Eretor's story reaches its climax in the shadow of Blackrock Mountain, where alongside the Sons of Lothar, he must face the weight of his father's legacy and decide once and for all whether he is willing to rise to meet it.
I'm sorry. Explain to me, though, why he looks like a blood elf if his dad's a human and his mom's a void elf. Why does he just look like a blood elf? Is he a high elf because his dad was a paladin? Also, I thought Turalyon died. So why is he there? Or did he not die? Because I could have sworn he died during I think it was Wrath of the Lich King. I thought he died. Or was it somebody else? I don't know. I'm getting really confused.
The raging center of an unraveling shadowy
This is where I want to be.
the epicenter of Xal'atath's
The
power.
Void Storm looks so fucking
Void
cool.
Storm overflows with violence, chaos, and hostility. Storm fields twist and fold its space. Gravity becomes untethered and tethers again. Insatiable void creatures known as Dominar stalk the storm, each one as unique and ancient as it is hateful and hungry. They carry on their eternal hunt for power
Wow.
under the black gaze of 3 enormous nexus points, hubs of the malicious dark energy Xal'atath draws upon to fuel her void spar and conduct her unyielding assault against the Sunwell. Join Azeroth's champions and the Void Elves in their quest.
There's
to
Illyria,
understand
and then
what
there's that
powers the
Draenei
storm
guy
and stave off its
from a Legion. Suddenly, a Legion remix makes a lot more sense.
Midnight lies in the ominous shade of the encroaching void. There is at least one refuge for the weary, the Arcantina. What began as a hidden sanctuary is now a not-so-secret tavern haven for Horde and Alliance alike. A big, cozy space filled by music, chatter, and life. If the void is the bleak and the cold, the Arcantina is its opposite. A warm spark in the heart of every patron. It is a place to gather with friends, find the perfect comfy sitting room, or just soak in the atmosphere of a well-traveled watering hole. As a crossway for people of all kinds, the Arcantina also serves as a source of new adventures. Familiar faces stop by here and there, spinning stories and offering quests that send you far across Azeroth in search of relics of the past. Follow the course they set for you to discover a fresh perspective on familiar locations. Xal'atath is determined in her destiny, an unrelenting foe with an army that never sleeps. But you can't live every moment in grim
I see
resistance.
Khadgar still in a fucking
The
wheelchair.
Arcantina is always here, should you find yourself in need of a little respite. The mysteries of the origins of the Void and the knowledge and power to stop it are not to be found only on the surface. For true deliverance, as always, hides in snarled labyrinths, looming temples, deadly ruins. These delves, dungeons, and raids are the real font of power, the sacred and defiled spaces from which strength is not just earned, but taken. Across this void
I hate delves.
world hide myriad delves overflowing with incalculable danger. Located on the Isle of Quel'Danas, Parhelion Plaza is an outdoor delve that drops you into the heart of the defense of the Sunwell. fight against the surge of the Void's attack by restoring Parhelion's defenses.
Delves are just single-player dungeons. You won't change my mind.
Pocket dimensions and putting down Gladius Slana, a Dominar who uses summoned Voidwalkers as weapons against your stand. Expect to plunge the depths of 9 other delves and 1 seasonal nemesis delve when Midnight launches. You do not have to face these delves alone. Valera Sanguinar is a powerful new companion with a rogue-minded approach to problem-solving. As a DPS, her killing spree ability has her moving through the shadows to lash out at multiple enemies. As a healer, she uses vampiric reaping to rip away the life force of enemies into orbs you can collect to heal. And as a tank, she uses your first mistake to taunt and do damage over time to any enemy that turns their back on her to attack her ally. Valera is also a prolific provider of poisons that, depending on her role, empower you with more damage, better avoidance, increased speed, and more.
Okay.
Your
Now make that a
adventures in
class.
Midnight eventually lead you down darker paths, paths that end in overgrown corridors and ruin-stricken relics, forgotten places of powers best left unstirred. Yet these dungeons promise plunder worthy of the peril, should you have the courage to overcome the challenges within. Windrunner Spire, the former residence of the Windrunner family, haunts the skyline of Eversong Wood's western shore. The strained relationship of its namesake sisters, Varisa, Sylvanas, and Ilaria, imbues its halls with a sullen spiteful energy.
I knew it. There were 3 sisters. Let's hear them again.
The strained relationship of its namesake sisters, Varisa,
Sylvanas, Illyria, all polar opposites of each other.
The restless spirits bound to this animosity threaten all who draw near. Among these spirits walks the Windrunner's sole brother, Lirith, who needs your help in
They had a brother?
walks the Windrunner's sole brother, Lirith, who needs your help in quelling this restlessness and clearing his once great home of hate. Serenity, however, is not so easily claimed. There are other forces that seek dominion over this domain. Emberdawn, a fire-colored dragonhawk, claims the dilapidated gardens of the Spire as a nest for her young. She is fiercely territorial, answering intruders with both talon and flame. The derelict duo comprised of the Banshee Callis and her loyal abomination Latch lead a band of fanatical undead in a hunt for relics tied to Sylvanas. They meet outside interference with a mix of shadowy magic and brute strength. Commander Krolok, a merciless orc who oversaw countless conquests during the Second War that took Lirith Windrunner's life, stalks the Spire with an insatiable bloodlust. Since being slain,
I didn't know an orc killed.
Krolok knows only torment. And
that's so weird. An orc killed their brother, but yet Sylvanas joined the Horde, and then I can't remember the other one, the one that's not Illyria. I don't even remember what side she joined. I'm pretty sure that she's a hunter, like the other 2, though.
And the desire to pass it on. The restless heart, a concentrated whirlwind of grief and suffering, born from the conflict of the Windrunner sisters, envelops all who remain in turbulent turmoil. This swirling specter takes the form of a ranger, combining the power of the wind with volleys of arrows to cut down the uninvited. Windrunner Spire was, at one point, a living embodiment of family and of legacy. With the help of Lirith and your allies, you can make it so once more. 7 more dungeons await you in Midnight, each one crawling with the Cutthroat and the Craven. Magister's Terrace and Murder Row in Eversong Woods, the Den of Nalorak and Mysara Caverns in Zulaman, Blinding Vale in Harandar, and the Voidscar Arena and Nexus Point Zenith in Voidstorm. The most tyrannical antagonists of Azeroth work their dark deeds from within Midnight's 3 new raids.
3
The
new
Void
raids
Squire,
right off
where
the
6
bat.
bosses hold court over the heart of the void and muster against the amassing vanguard of the light as it readies to storm the walls of Xalatath's stronghold. The Dream Rift, where you must join in the hunt for an undreamt god that never should have been, and put down half-birthed abominations that lash out against existence itself. And the march on Quell Danas, an encounter still...
This is probably the final raid of the original expansion.
Levelin, the void-corrupted phoenix, who stakes a ceaseless watch over the entrance to the chambers beyond. The void threatens to end all of Azeroth, to rend the world in the squall of a black tempest.
Yep, the demon
The
hunters.
extraordinary power it carries does provide opportunities to those heroes willing to embrace it. Devoured demon hunters bend the void to their will.
I'm looking
ripping
forward to
void
this.
fragments from their enemies and using them as the power source for cataclysmic spells. They are mid-range damage dealers, armed with a summonable void scythe, darting in and out of the fray as they dance on the line between control and chaos.
That's
Void
cool.
Raid and Hungering Slash work in concert. Dash into melee range to deliver a series of crushing void scythe attacks, then use Vengeful Retreat to escape the enemy's reprisal. You can also start this combo off with a void-charged The Hunt. Metamorphosis transforms you into a familiar state of cursed power. The more you feed it, the longer it lasts. Ride the wave of annihilation by tearing apart souls and staying alive. Reap is a sweeping scythe attack that consumes all of your soul fragments for one massive burst of damage. Use Void Ray to cut through enemies in a straight line and leave them smoldering. Collapsing Star channels the immense energy of a dying star, focusing it into one single destructive blast. The more you cast
weird,
it
this one's
during
my
your
favorite
void
song.
metamorphosis, the
What's going on?
stronger it gets.
This is my
Demon
favorite
hunters
song on
also
this
find
tune.
themselves with new disciples.
This reminds me
in
of when he
midnight.
was first born. That was like the
Void
first
elves
song
are
I
sharpening
played.
their war glaives and joining the hunt.
New allies.
Newly awakened to the dire threat of midnight, the Haranir join the fight for the surface as the next playable allied race. Haranir are deeply entwined with the organic world. Theirs
But
is
I
a
want
culture
more
shaped
allied
not by
races. I want
physical
high
conquest,
elves.
but by the roots, the stones, the quiet pulse of the deepest breath of the world. Their armor, their weapons, their skin, all are infused with the inner light of organic power. Even the mightiest primordial predator in Harandar knows
Okay,
to
they at
fear
least
the
look cool.
telltale luminescence of a
They don't look like
Haranir's
fucking
largest
trolls.
in the dense jungle brush. They are primal, ferocious hunters, a force of nature unto themselves, who possess the racial ability to travel along the roots of the world, from Harandar to any world tree, or from anywhere back to Harandar. Haranir are versatile warriors, who can choose from a wide range of paths, including those of the warrior, hunter, rogue, priest, shaman, mage,
Paladin,
warlock,
paladin, paladin,
monk,
paladin,
and druid.
paladin. Damn it!
The last of which has all new forms that reflect the Haranir's unique connection to those hidden parts of the earth. Prey is a secret opt-in initiative run out of Silvermoon City by Astalor.
No, what you guys don't understand that pisses me off is the fact that they've introduced all of this stuff with this new expansion that is focused on paladins and priests, but they did not make it so that everybody can be paladins or priests. They only made it so that everybody can be priests, and they did that long before. Why can't everybody be paladins if they're literally training people to be paladins right now? And again, they could have added a whole new class based on void powers. Like a void version of a paladin. Not to be confused with a Death Knight, because that's got nothing to do with it. They dropped the fucking ball. If they don't do this later on into this expansion, they fumbled so hard. Because literally during they've already proven that they can do stuff like that just out of nowhere. Because they already made it so that everybody can be, what was it? Warriors, hunters, priests, warlocks, and rogues. Because originally, a lot of the classes, it doesn't make sense for them to be them, and it still doesn't make sense. And then when Shadowlands came out, they made it so that everybody currently could be Death Knights. And now they've introduced a bunch of new races that can't be Death Knights still. So explain that shit to me.
Or Bloodsworn, a blood elf with what some might call a colorful past.
Blood!
Is after
Blood
one
powers!
thing, anguish.
Why is it not a
powerful magic
class?
siphoned from Azeroth's deadliest threats. And he's offering generous compensation to...
This is like the third time that they've shown characters that have the ability to use blood magic and stuff. And it's still not a class. If I see those fucking tiger worgans, I'm gonna lose my shit, because that's another one of my points. I believe that should be a horde version of worgans. And they need to make it so that undead are a neutral race, that you can pick any different character and give them the undead option. You can have a undead human, which is a Forsaken, which, by the way, should be on Alliance. You could have a undead Tauren. You could have an undead Night Elf. You could have an undead Gnome. Undead Mecha Gnome. That would look fucking cool. Imagine a fucking, like... And to give them, like, a skeletal option, too. Make it so that, like, they could be, like, a skeleton with robot parts and stuff. That would be so cool. That might actually get me to play a Mecha Gnome. Because I fucking hate Mecha Gnomes. I hate gnomes and dwarves.
Or foolhardy enough.
Fuck those midgets.
Chase it. Astalor's lair in Murder Row is your base of operations for Prey. The place where you pick your targets, track your progress, and collect your rewards. Including
This is cool.
cosmetics,
That's cool.
mods,
That's
titles,
cool.
And housing items.
Ooh.
The deeper you go, the harder the challenges, and the more you unlock. Prey has 3 difficulties. Normal, which serves as an introduction to the system, along with offering plenty of challenge.
Heroic, mythic.
The ambushes
Oh.
get meaner, and the encounters more intense. And Nightmare, which is just about the fastest way to gain intimate knowledge of Midnight's many new and scenic graveyards. Prey can ambush you at any time, whether you're questing, exploring, or mining.
That's a good way to say it. They've got 3 different difficulties. Normal, hard, and Nightmare. Nightmare if you want to be more experienced and view the graveyards more often, because you're gonna fucking die a lot. That's basically what he just said.
In your own business. Each time you defeat your target, you increase your advantage by tiring them out and buying time to find whatever dark hole they're hiding in. Higher difficulties incorporate torments, personal afflictions that only impact you. Torments cause a wide range of effects, like creating an AoE damage puddle under recently deceased foes, or haunting you with a bloody spirit that deals lethal damage when it catches you.
Ooh.
Torment can also manifest in the form of Astalor's impatience, forcing you to make a kill within a specific time limit before Astalor simply extracts his payment from you. Prey targets are all different, and all deadly. Magister Sunbreaker, a disgraced blood elf whose reckless magic is a threat to Silvermoon and everyone near it.
I want his armor, though.
Indicator Vareem, a zealot
I want
who
his
believes
armor.
The void can only be defeated by covering the entire world in holy flame, and is ready to put that belief to the test.
No.
Executor Canius, a sadistic dominar whose primary hobby is murdering anyone foolish enough to challenge his martial prowess. Prey is a way to add excitement, unpredictability, and challenge to your journey through Midnight. But be warned, there's a reason Astalor isn't chasing these targets himself.
Yeah, I wonder why.
For those who tread the
Housing,
warm
let's
paths
go.
and soaring skyways of Azeroth, it is more than a world, more than story, character, or conflict. Azeroth is, and always will be, home. Housing in Midnight is dedicated to that ineffable feeling of being part of something bigger.
Garrison's
of
Part
something
2.
greater, of living a real life as a true part of a real world. Housing in WoW is built to give you boundless self-expression in the place you call yours. Collect hundreds of decorations and dive deep on customization. Place, rotate, scale, and move items to your heart's content. This is more than changing a coat of paint or choosing a different picture frame.
Looks cool.
It's a sandbox for your imagination. World of Warcraft has over 2 decades of content, and the time you've spent in Azeroth over the years will yield a bounty of housing rewards. Milestones like completing your Legion Order Hall campaign, or finishing completionist achievements like Back to the Beyond will award housing items post facto. You'll also earn decor through dungeons and raids, reputation vendors, achievements, quest lines, housing endeavors, the auction house, holidays and live events, and crafting. All professions from all expansions can craft decor. Search the world for lumber, a new gathering resource, and use it to craft decorations that can be bought and sold on the auction house.
Ooh.
Many housing-specific items can be dyed, giving you greater control of the finer details of
Ooh,
decorating.
no way.
Imagine your dream home. Collect and craft the decor to bring it to reality. Then tweak it until it is just right. Floor plans are flexible. You can rotate and stack rooms to create multi-floor structures. A variety of room types and shapes are available, including normal squares and rectangles, L and T hallways, as well as some more fantastical configurations. Advanced mode takes the toolset even further, allowing you to adjust each piece of decor exactly as you want. Rotate, float, scale, and more.
That's
to make your home
amazing.
a perfect reflection of your taste. And that's just the inside. The outside of your house is also customizable. Place your home how you want it on your plot. Add fountains, statues, planters, and more. Change out your windows. Pick the perfect chimney. Add a tower, and decide on the door of your dreams. Exterior plots also have the same advanced mode as interiors for even more modification. At Midnight's official launch, you'll have a choice between exterior themes based on orcs, humans, blood elves, and night elves. These aren't just
Where are the night elf ones? Why didn't they show
full
it?
architectural styles with unique customization options. Orc homes feature hide rooftops, bonfires, and rugged surfaces. Human homes are rustic, with sturdy stone walls, warm wooden floors, and colorful banners. Level up your house to unlock more flexibility. New rooms
Ooh.
and floors, bigger house sizes, increases in the number of spots for decor, and more. Every house is in a shared zone known as a neighborhood, where you and others can show off your homes, build community, and participate in rolling challenges to earn housing rewards.
Okay.
Neighborhoods feature a wide variety of biomes, from spooky forests and coastal plains in Founders Point to lush oases and windswept bluffs in razor-wind shores. All contain different kinds of plots. Some are secluded and quiet, while others are clustered for the socially vibrant. Your neighborhood is faction-coded in its aesthetics, but not faction-exclusive in its residency. You have
Ooh.
the choice between two types of neighborhood. Private neighborhoods where guilds or groups of friends can form their own space. Public neighborhoods where you'll find a home among friends you haven't met yet.
Ooh, I like that.
Private neighborhoods come in two varieties. Guild neighborhoods, which scale to fit your guild roster, and charter neighborhoods, which are capped at 50 homes and are perfect for tight-knit communities. Endeavors are monthly neighborhood-wide activities that bring everyone together to complete tasks, unlock themed decorations, and contribute to helping your neighborhood evolve.
That's amazing.
Participate in endeavors to earn House XP and community coupons that give you access to exclusive decor.
Surely there's like portal rooms and stuff like that that you can do.
Help you find your perfect space and transform it to your own fantasy haven.
Pandaren
To
Death
create
Knight,
your own
crazy.
home, sweet home.
And there you have it. Thank you so much on behalf of the entire World of Warcraft team for joining us for this overview of Midnight. And if after what you just saw you can't wait to get your hands on housing, don't worry, because it's coming your way if you have Midnight in early December of this year. Thank you again, and we'll see you in Azeroth.
Slayer's Rise. Epic Battleground. No way. Exile's Reach update. Lore walking updates. Situational outfit swapping is the thing that I really want. Apex talents. Nameplate customization. Cooldown manager. Combat assistant. Death recap. Streamlined skywriting. Oh, so they're going to be making it
I
better?
hope you've enjoyed this deeper look at Midnight. But as you can see, this fight
He is a voice actor for one, like multiple characters in this game. I just can't remember the characters. I can tell from his voice. I think he's Terralian for starters. What?
He's a general voice actor. He does all kinds of stuff.
I think he also does,
is far from over. The drums of war thunder once again, and Azeroth needs her champions now.
I think he does Thrall as well. I think he does Terralian and Thrall, because he's got the undertone of him.
More than ever.
I've had this thing pre-purchased since like the day it came out. Okay, Q&A.
Hello, we are live. Welcome to the World of Warcraft Midnight Q&A. I'm Randy Jordan, and I go by Kyvax on the Warcraft community team. We recently asked WoW players on forums and social media sites to submit questions, and you delivered. So, we've got 3 leaders of the WoW development team here.
Wish I would have heard about this. I would have asked quite a few questions.
I'm Ian Hasikostas, Game Director on WoW.
Hi, my name is Paul Cubitt. I'm Associate Game Director on World of Warcraft, working on the Midnight expansion.
He looks like she doesn't want to be here.
I'm the Design Director for WoW.
We got a lot of questions, and I want to get right to them. We're going to start with some housing questions. So, Cyglaive on the forums asked, it actually said, during a Gamescom interview, it was mentioned that Horde players would be able to use Alliance-style housing exteriors and vice versa. However, in a recent blog post, it was stated that the housing styles would be faction-locked. Can we get clarification on that?
Yes, there was a bit of confusion definitely around the Gamescom messaging there. As we just saw in the deep dive video, the neighborhoods ultimately are anchored in specific locations in the world. If you are in the Alliance neighborhood, you are on the outskirts of Stormwind in the Elwyn area. If you are in the Horde neighborhood, you're on the outskirts of Orgrimmar. While private neighborhoods can be cross-faction, you can have your guildmates, you can have your friends of the opposite faction move in, the general setting, the exterior houses there are going to reflect the location. The NPCs that are wandering around the neighborhood, again, are anchored in that place in the world. Maybe something that we revisit down the line, but for the time being, if you're in the Horde neighborhood, the home exteriors need to reflect the...
This better not be an abandoned concept after the expansion ends. Like what they did with garrisons.
A player named Hey Hey on the EU Spanish forums asked, I know there are plans for combat pets to appear in housing. Are there also plans for hunter pets?
Yes, so pets are something in general that we're working towards. At release in Midnight, battle pets won't be available to be placed just yet. I think something that we need to solve to make that work on the engineering side is actually making sure that they can path and move comfortably around whatever configuration of objects you might happen to place in your home or in your
Yeah, you don't need them clipping through your table.
Planning on delivering that shortly after launch. Alongside that, we do want to add the ability to place your mounts in your mount collection. If you want to, have them on a hitching post in your yard, that's something we'd love to deliver as well. Hunter pets are probably trickier. Those are character specific, and housing is an account-wide system really tied to your warband. And so, pulling from specific characters' hunter pet stable would probably be much more challenging. I'll never say never, but that's not in the plans currently.
Decor. Bjorky on Reddit asked, how will the trading post housing items work? Let's say there's a chair on the trading post, will we have to buy the chair multiple times if we want a set of 4 in our house? Will there be a 10-chair bundle for a set price? Or will the purchase give us infinite amount of chairs?
This is something we spent a good amount of time thinking about. There's going to be lots of ways that you can get decor starting in 11.2.7 and then into Midnight through achievements, through crafting, through completing just the campaign of Midnight and so on. And we ran into a lot of the same questions that you asked, the person who asked this question.
Yes.
Yes, and for that reason, we're actually just not going to have them on the trading post. At least for the first few months, there should be plenty of other ways that you could start gathering decor for your house. And then you won't have to make that hard decision between, do I want this chair versus this cool mount or cool transmog?
Another question comes from Xanther on the forums. Xanther asked, how will outdoor housing plots work? If I want a certain plot and it's taken, do I have the option to try another instance?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Essentially, when you want to move house, you're just going to say, yep, it's time to move. It's all going to get packaged up for you. Paul likes to say that a mage comes along and puts it into an arcane ball for you. Don't know if that's actually, you know.
That is what happens.
Oh, totally. Okay. And then you can go to wherever you'd like to sort of deploy your house, and it just comes right back out of the bubble, set up exactly how you had it. So you can move around neighborhoods, you can move around different plots within a neighborhood. Yep, totally transportable.
Right on. Celia on the German WoW forums asked, will there be updates to the guild system in Midnight?
I think most of the updates we see to the guild system are going to be in the form of neighborhoods. We expect to see a lot of guilds, especially guilds who are like playing a lot actively with one another, to build guild neighborhoods where you'll be able to live alongside one another. So instead of the typical ways you're interacting with one another in WoW, whether that's raid nights, Mythic Plus nights, PvP, whatever it is you choose to do, you might also just start running into one another in the morning when you go out to get the paper. And so really looking forward to seeing guilds build stronger connections based on those guild neighborhoods.
I think the other systemic trappings of the guild system are something that we know is definitely due for a refresh. Guilds obviously have been there since the beginning, and there's definitely room for improvement. Our focus for Midnight, though, really was on the housing integration side of it, and the rest of the system is something we hope to get back to in the near future.
Okay.
A highly upvoted question on Reddit comes from Chilligok. Chilligok asked, will we ever get another texture update for older races? Especially compared to Earthen, the hairstyles are outdated now.
We do have a couple which are coming in Midnight. As you complete the Amani campaign in Zulaman, you will be able to unlock some cool cosmetics for Darkspear Trolls, some cool hairstyles, and actually skin colors as well. And so if you have any Darkspear Trolls on your account, you play through the campaign, you'll be able to get some cool customizations. And this is one of the ways that we do try to approach this, is as it's appropriate to the story, we'll look for cool ways that you can integrate cosmetics into your own character. That's not the only way that we might do this, though.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's something that we see as an issue to chip away at over time. We want to roll out extra customizations, hairstyles, you name it.
They're doing it fucking wrong, though.
To bring them up to parity with the very newest options. It's not something we're able to do all at once, but particularly where it makes sense and fits the story, we're excited to keep adding.
Because the biggest problem is they'll add random shit all the time that doesn't make any sense, but anything that people actually want, they will refuse to work it in repetitively. Because I'm not the only one that wants, like, for example, allied races to just be customization options for the core races, and then you pick your racial traits. They could turn a race, like your race, they could turn that into another talent tree. Like, you can, like, maybe it's, like, maybe when you make your character, you don't have any racial traits until you get into the game and you start leveling, and then you can start unlocking all your passives and your maybe movement related abilities, your resistance abilities and stuff like that. I don't know why they always say that they want to make something that makes sense, or they want to add things as they work with the storyline, when they don't do that. They say that they do, but they don't do that. That's just their way of saying, no, we're not going to do that. Like, it's so frustrating to hear that every time that they fucking say it. Because they will just do random shit sometimes that doesn't make any sense. And they're like, don't worry, it's part of the story. But then it doesn't even make sense. But then when you ask them about something, then they're saying, no, we're just going to make sure that we work it into the story. It might take a while and this and that. And it's like, no, you just don't want to fucking do it.
them, our long-term goal is to get to a place where every race, whether brand new or one of the original ones, has roughly the same number of options.
So, as we just saw in the
Oh.
deep dive and going back to the Gamescom announcement, we have a system coming called Prey. And I have a couple of questions here about Prey. System of Cells on Reddit asked, will the Prey system make all mobs in the target zone more challenging, or only the Prey target plus world quests unique to that system?
Yeah, it will affect everything in the zone for you. So if you have chosen to go into the zone chasing a nightmare mode prey, everything is going to be much harder for you. It's based on an aura that's put on you, sort of like it's almost like an affliction in a way, or a torment. And as you move through that zone, it's going to be harder.
And the player in Prey is on their own?
They are when they finally wear down that boss, if it's in one of the harder modes. Then you need to go mano a mano. If it's in the normal mode, then the rest of the players in the vicinity can help you out.
Gotcha. The WoW creator Fandy asked, is the Prey system planned to be a part of the world row in vaults?
Yeah, in one way or another. As we build our expansion, one of the last things that comes in is specifics on rewards. So we don't have the specific details now, but when we do look at Prey, we look at it as similar in difficulty and sort of player activity to the types of things that you do in Delves. And Delves do take up that bottom row of the world row in the Great Vault as well. So we do expect, if you're running Prey, you're going to see better rewards in that row in one way or another.
Good. I want to get to one of the most highly upvoted questions we saw across all channels. This is from Weird Dandom Ally on Reddit. And that goes, any plans to rejuvenate the glyph system? All classes could take advantage of it for class visual customizations like warlocks have with their pets and druids with their forms.
Yeah, so there isn't a glyph overhaul planned for Midnight at launch in particular, but the general question of more customization for spell visuals, transforms, things along those lines, that's one that we're also very excited about and always looking to offer.
Just add spell tints. They can make glyphs, or they can make spell tints. Because if you add spell tints, you can just change the color of all of your abilities. Because most classes, most specializations, they have specific elements. You should be able to change the color of that element. Like, for example, if you want, like, before the Devour Respect Demon Hunters came out, or, well, they're not out yet, but when they come out, that's going to be void-based. For Demon Hunters, for example, they do have the ability to change the color of your spirit orbs and your wings. They could combine all that and make it so that you can change the color of your element. And by getting like a specific type of glyph, like they could call it a glyph of color, like a color, and then tint. And it would make it so that, for example, for Demon Hunters, say you want to do a pink one. So you do glyph of pink tints. It makes it so that your orbs are pink. It makes it so that, like, for example, your Fell Devastation is pink. Your eye beam is pink. Your wings are pink. Your eyes, they glow pink. They can do stuff like that. And it would make it so much easier for them. It would make it so much better for everybody else. And it would work with the game because fucking mages can do whatever the fuck they want. Anytime that they come out with something, they can just blame the mages. Anytime they add something to the game that doesn't make any sense, they can just say it was the mages' idea. It would be funny. It would make sense because everything that happens usually has something to do with the fucking mages. They literally can move continents if they have enough of them. Just blame the mages, then do whatever the fuck you want. It will work with the story, I promise. Nobody's even going to be confused. Nobody's going to complain. Everybody's going to be happy. That's all you got to do. Just do shit, blame the mages, move on, everyone's happy. I'm gonna put that on a shirt. I'm just gonna say blame the mages. Like, you can't tell me it wouldn't make sense.
It wouldn't make sense.
I didn't ask you. Because they always say, "Oh, we can't add this because it doesn't work with the storyline."
Still want to spend the money.
No, they just don't want to work on it. Because they're too busy working on the end game shit. Which, by the way, if, like, you know how amazing it would be to make it so that, like, oh, I have a paladin, and you know how they have all those holy glowing yellow abilities? If I could put a tint on it that makes it like a black color, that would look so fucking cool. Imagine Avenging Wrath, but it looks like a fucking shadow form. Like, you get those wings and the aura and stuff and the crown and everything, and it's just like a deep black smoky color. Oh my gosh. Why have they not done this? This makes way better sense than glyphs. I'm talking about customization. That's the thing.
Just a bunch of random customizations, but they're like.
And they could just blame the mages if they want to make it canonical.
Like I said, they don't have lives outside of a video game, so
they're making it so that you can live in houses in this game, and then you can see your friends outside, quote unquote, in the video game, so you feel more closer to people.
Game players don't have lives outside of the game. They don't. They have like very little lives outside of the game.
Like, I would spend real money if they fucking added those tints. Make it so that you can change the color of your spells and abilities just as a whole. They can make it exclusive to, like, oh, you can change it for each ability and stuff that you have. Or they can just make it so that it applies to your overall class. Because imagine a Shadow Priest, but it's like a Lightborn type of thing. Like, you make it like a white color instead of the shadow form. That would look so cool. Because they're like, what even? Because people will be looking at it and they're like, is that a holy priest or something? Like, no, it's a Shadow Priest. It just looks fucking cool. Or you get a what else could you do? Druids with their nature ability. You could give them like maybe, for example, a like necrotic tint or something like that. Like, makes it so that all of your like nature looking abilities and stuff, they have more of like a dead grass type of look, or a more skeletal type of thing where it's like there's so much that they can do with it. Like, they can make it as lazy as possible and it will still look amazing. Because all they gotta do is just change the color of their shit. And that would make your character feel so much more exclusive to you. Me personally, I'd make all of my classes and all of my like abilities and stuff for all of my characters, I'd make them all either black or purple, because that would look fucking cool.
Again, they just take it too serious.
Because every single time that now, because they're doing a Q&A, every single person so far that has asked a question, they said, yeah, we're looking into it. And it's like, no, you're not. That's the first time you've probably seen that.
They just don't want people complaining.
Like, this game has fallen off so hard, and they can fix it, they just haven't. And you want to know the dumbest thing that they fucking done? When they changed the names of the fucking genders in the character customization screen, but they didn't change it in the game itself. So when you go to make a character, it says body 1, body 2. But when you go into the game and you mouse over a player, it says male or female. If you wanted to get rid of it, get rid of it. Otherwise, fucking keep it. It makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense. But they said they want to work things into the storyline. That doesn't work into the storyline at all. They just did it. Blame the fucking mages, I guess. I don't know.
Offer more customization, more cosmetic self-expression where possible, and the glyph system is a great vehicle.
Stop getting on your high horse. I literally press play and he's like, yeah, we're working on giving people as many customization options as possible and this and that. We want to make it so that all of the races have the same or close to the same amount of options when you're making your character and this and that. And I'm like, then fucking do it. You can't say you're working on it for 5 years And there's nothing to show for it other than, oh, hey, we added a new allied race. It has a lot of options. What about the other ones? You have like 40 different races in this game, and half of them can be mixed together, by the way. Like, half of them literally look like reskins.
Yeah, if you play Animal Crossing, you get full customization options.
Well, what doesn't make sense is the fact that they literally can, like, say we're gonna make it so that everybody has like the same or similar customization options, but then they add new allied races that look the exact same, just with different customization options. Just combine them. We don't need to have like 50 different races to choose from if half of them look the same.
Vehicles for this. It's not the only vehicle, but where it makes sense, that's definitely one of the avenues we would use.
Speaking of highly upvoted questions, we got a lot from the PvP community. I want to ask a few of those.
PvP community questions.
Starting with Kethcup on Reddit, the question is, do you have any plans on making PvP less daunting for new players?
We absolutely.
Thank you for asking that. It is so hard to get into rated PvP when you're fucking new or you have a new account, because you have to get to such a high eye level just to get into a rated battleground. Add scaling for starters. Scale everybody to either the bare minimum or the bare maximum. I mean, they already kind of do that, but they mainly just do that for standard PvP. They don't do it for rated. Get rid of the eye level requirement, or make it so that it's more attainable and keep everybody at the same level.
Absolutely do, yeah. We're really excited to introduce a new feature called Training Grounds. This is a feature where players can enter battlegrounds fighting alongside other players against game-controlled opponents. So instead of fighting against other PvPers, potentially people who have been playing this mode much longer than you, who have better PvP gear than you, and are going to wipe the floor with you, you'll be able to fight against some opponents who you'll have a little bit more of a satisfying win rate against. And because of that, we think this will be a pretty good on-ramp for people who are...
So their solution is adding bots to PvP. Is that what they're saying? They're saying the solution to fixing PvP is adding bots so that you feel like you win more. No, you have to fix the scaling. No, you have to fix the scaling because you got people who are maxed out in their gear, having all kinds of fucking enchantments and enhancements on their gear, fighting against people who just finally got the bare minimum for their PvP gear that you have to have in order to be able to enter a rated battleground. I'm talking about rated PvP, by the way. They're talking about normal. When people mention PvP, most of the time, they only care about rated, because that's where you actually get rewards from. So if they don't fix it, they just continue to fuck it up, and their solution is adding bots to normal PvP. They've been doing that for pretty much the entirety of the game existing. But they didn't see the fact that everybody complains about bots in Fortnite.
I know, they didn't see that part. They just saw that, oh, game successful, game has bots. But yeah, bot. But that's like really common in any game in the game industry. Like one game seems.
I really want to make a game to rival every single one of these games and do exactly what people want and see how well it does. All of these games will be left in the dust if one person makes a game and actually listens to their communities instead of just going, oh, don't worry, I hear you. Anyways, here's this completely different thing that doesn't answer your problem.
The best example is Animal Crossing. It's one of the #1 sellers from Nintendo, if not the #1 seller.
Other than the Mario games.
Listen to fans and make it as much towards the fans as possible, and they're adding more still. And it's literally the most successful Nintendo game like ever.
Non-sexual fan service is the most important thing you can do in a game. Because if you deter your fans from playing your game, you have no game. You need to learn to listen to your actual people who are asking questions right now, and you're not even actually listening. You're just saying shit just to say it.
Actually playing the game, opinions.
Because you can sit down for 52 minutes and 58 seconds and just bullshit the whole time, or you can actually get stuff done and actually do what your people want you to do. This is no different than a presidential constituency. You are supposed to listen to the people beneath you because they're the ones that are in charge of your success.
I blame that woman.
She doesn't even look like she wants to be there.
I know, that's why I blame her. She looks miserable.
Because she just listened to these two guys bullshit the whole time while the other guy's asking questions. And then she's just sitting there looking around like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Yeah, like, I just want to go work on playing my game and sit on my ass the rest of the day.
Like the one time that she talked, it was actually something useful to know.
That's funny.
These guys have been stepping all over her, and they've been chiming into each other talking.
PvP curious who want to get into PvP but feel like there's just too much of a steep on-ramp because of those daunting aforementioned players who want to wipe the floor with you. This is going to start with a couple battlegrounds that players will be able to jump into with training grounds, and we'll see where we go from there.
Yeah, training grounds my ass. You're just fighting bots.
Broadly speaking, I think one of the challenges is
they already added that though. It's comp stomp.
Question implies, if you're getting into PvP for the first time.
No, they've already added this though. That's the thing. It's called comp stomp. It's a brawl that they come out with once every like 2 months, and everybody plays it way too much. And that's probably because that's the only brawl that they can win. So if they're just gonna make it into a normal battleground, then what's the fucking point?
You're in some cases jumping into a pool that's filled with sharks who've been doing this for 20 years. But there's so much, there's nothing quite like World of Warcraft PvP and that style of conflict, that style of combat. And so really our philosophical approach as we move into Midnight to really try to rejuvenate and grow the scene is to broaden the base of that pyramid so we can kind of lift the whole thing up and help all levels of it, whether you are the most hardcore person competing for titles at the end of every season. Everyone will be better.
Everybody wants that though. Everybody wants the titles. They shouldn't have to be a hardcore player to even be able to compete. Everybody wants the titles. Everybody wants the mounts. Everybody wants the transmogs. Everybody wants the conquest points.
Better served if people feel like they can actually enter this community for the first time and discover what is so great about WoW PvP.
Let's all be sharks.
So eventually.
Eventually, my ass.
And creator known as Supatees had the most highly upvoted question on our forums. He wrote, "In the War Within, we saw major reward improvements and restructuring for Mythic Plus, which improved participation. Are there plans to...
All they know is that they make money by bullshitting. So they're going to continue to bullshit the more that, as they continue to make money."
Okay, look at these guys. And then look at her.
I know, she looks miserable. She's like, I just want to go home.
She's like, I just want to actually work on the game.
She looks like an OG. She looks like the oldest person there.
She looks like she actually wants to go work on the game. These two look like they'd rather just sit here and talk about stuff that they're not going to do. That's why I hate watching these things, but I also watch them so that maybe they might say something useful for once. Only useful things I'm getting is every like 30 minutes when this girl fucking talks. When they're done interrupting her.
It's not going to be as cold. Sorry, because I just switched it out.
Oh. Oh well. It's cold enough.
Sleep. I didn't stand that. That's all he wanted me to do.
Structure for PvP, such as...
Problem is, I don't have the
rating
time
cutoffs
every time to
or
do that.
additional rewards.
Rating cutoffs? No. Don't add that.
One thing I can say that will be changing at launch in Midnight and the first season of Midnight is that top tier cutoff coming down from 2,400 to 2,300 for those rewards and titles. I think looking at how MMR has evolved and how the rating ecosystem has played out, that's been a bit too exclusive even for some of our best players. Broadly speaking, beyond that, I think there's a lot more that we would like to do with the system. That's not necessarily going to be happening right at launch in Midnight, but if you look, for example, at what we changed with Mythic Plus and new titles and new structure and things like the Resilient Keystone system in War Within, those changes came in War Within patches. So as we look to PvP and its evolution over the course of Midnight, that's definitely an area that we want to focus on.
Got another one. Sandent on the WoW forums wrote, "Will War Mode receive more well-needed attention? more activities.
Why
like
the hell
zone
are they all
objectives
dressed
for
exactly the
rotating
fucking
attacks.
same?
Maybe a free-for-all treatment?
Yeah, we're adding a whole new area into
Notice that.
the
They literally
Voidstorm zone.
all wear the
A
same
giant
fucking
war mode
outfits, I
area,
swear to
which
God.
reflects the same space as the Slayer's Rise battleground. If you watch the deep dive video, you got to see that. That Slayer's Rise is also made manifest in the zone itself. And this is, you know, if you've played war mode in past expansions, you know that we've taken a couple war mode areas and had maybe one in each zone, you know, one in Ringing Deeps and one in Isle of Dorn, where PvP, when you enable war mode, you'll have some special, unique activities. We took all those and glumped them all together right into this Slayer's Rise area, and so there's going to be a huge PvP playground if you have war mode on, be able to do lots of cool world-class activities, reasons to just kill one another, and even if you don't have war mode enabled, there'll still be PvP-themed content for folks doing world quests up in that area.
Why would you not have war mode enabled?
That's a very good question. Yeah.
Because you're afraid of sharks.
Yeah, it's sharks.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Why would you not have war mode enabled? Cause of sharks. Yeah, no shit.
Babe. Why do nerds always dress the same? Why they all fucking look like that?
Cause it's an aesthetic.
But what? Look at, they all wear fucking blue jeans and a shirt of some kind, and it's always those types of shirts. Look at them. They literally all match.
Yeah.
And everyone I know who plays this damn game wears the same things. What? It's like a...
Except for me.
Except for, like, you. You're the only person I met who plays this game who...
I throw in a hoodie and sweatpants every now and then.
No, it's not even that. It's just like you just don't have that look that every person I know who's played this game looks. Like, they just have a look about them. Like,
Which is funny because I've been playing this game for 14 years.
I know,
I've been playing this game since I was like 8 years old.
It's bizarre because even my dad, who grew up on this game, looks like that. Like the way he dresses. They just have a look. Like, y'all are a cult. Y'all are a crazy nerd cult.
It's probably the safest cult to be in.
I mean, honestly, yeah. Because yeah.
Wanna go talk about Dungeons and Dragons together?
I'm sorry, but it's lame. Y'all are lame.
Mm-hmm. Anyways.
So, MacLemente26 on Reddit.
Play some
asked a
football.
question
Touch
that
some
we saw a lot
grass.
of, which is, when can we expect Reputation?
I touched grass more recently than you. I went outside this morning.
True story.
You can take them with you.
Yeah, I'm trying so hard to sleep. Like, I don't know why. I just cannot sleep for some reason.
Mm-hmm. It's because your body doesn't want you to sleep. You feel your brain's telling you need to sleep, but your body doesn't want you to because you don't actually need to at the moment.
Physically can't even move. It hurts.
Maybe it's the other way around then. Well, something's telling you guys stay up.
It's actually not.
Yeah, I cleaned up pretty much everything.
Honestly, I'm glad you're a nerd because I don't have to worry about you being out clubbing all the time. I'd rather you be a nerd than out doing crazy stuff, so.
I'm not even a nerd though. It's just I just don't do that stuff.
This game. But that doesn't necessarily make you a nerd because, yeah, like. Yeah. Like I said, you don't have the look. For one, every single nerd I've met has a look. Every single one without fail. I mean, they literally are just all identical almost in the way they dress and look. It's kind of creepy sometimes. Like, when I look at it, I'm like, yeah, like, they just have a look.
Okay, I want to finish this so that I can actually play now.
From expansions prior to Shadowlands to become warbound reputations.
So yeah, taking full accountability here. I know that when we rolled out the warbands, we said that we were going to work our way backwards through reputations. We haven't made progress as quickly as we would have liked. We got some of the Shadowlands reputations, but not the Covenant ones. This is something we're going to pick up and resume. I can't commit to a definite timetable, but in the long run, we don't want this, internal disparity between how different expansions' reputations are handled, and we'll continue to start with the most recent and work our way backwards.
Thank you. Sixten on Blue Sky said, War Within is the first WoW expansion without a legendary. Can we expect anything in Midnight, or is the team taking time to reevaluate what place legendaries have in the modern game?
I think we always want to avoid things seeming formulaic, where it's like, okay, you can expect it's a new season, there's going to be a new legendary, this is how it's going to work. Legendaries should always remain special. They should feel like these are items that have clear stories behind them and feel worthy of that special orange color. And yes, we're also looking always at issues with how they're awarded. We want to make sure they feel special, but also don't turn into something where it feels bad or grindy because they feel required if you want to be competitive. There's a fine line to walk there. There aren't currently any planned for the first tier of Midnight, but as we face certain foes down the line, it may make sense for some of the items that they yield to have that orange color, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that one. You almost spoiled the next update before this one came out.
Background information on story regarding Lyrath Windrunner. Sorry. Any of the other Windrunner family members, perhaps?
Absolutely. I don't want to talk too much about patches, but certainly in Midnight, as we go into the Spire, you will have the opportunity to really get a brother's view of his sisters. And an opportunity to learn a lot more about what happened and what's happening in that place. And I mentioned before, we're gonna see the sisters.
And Grody Toady on Blue Sky wants to ask about trolls. So here come all the names. Where is Vol'jin's story in all of this? I'm hoping we find a way to weave Vol'jin, Talanji, Zul'jin, Rokan, Zul'Jan, and Zul'Jara into a cohesive story about troll unity or cooperation.
Well, right out of the gate in Midnight, you're not going to see that combination of trolls, but you will see a combination of some trolls as we continue into patches and move forward. We're very much focused on what's going on with the trolls as well as what's going on with the Blood Elves. They have not always been on the best of terms for reasons, and there's definitely a story to be told about their relationship, and all of those folks come into that story.
Groxy on Blue Sky said, Midnight sees the Paladin forces of Azeroth fighting back the Void at the Sunwell. Can we hope to see more lore about the Tauren and Azeroth's sun god Ansha? Eyes of the Earth Mother told us how he and Elune slash Musha fought possibly the Void in ancient Azeroth.
Well, we are going to hang out with Desco a little bit in the Erator's Journey.
Out of all of the Paladin-related questions that could have been asked, they asked the one about the Taurens instead of asking, since we're being so focused towards Paladins in this expansion, when are you going to make it so that everybody can be Paladins? They're not even picking the right questions to answer. I know I'm not the only one that's asked that question, because they did it with the Death Knights in Shadowlands. Which, by the way, they did not continue for new allied races. So again, still they fucked that up.
I think it's
because Shadowlands always exists. It will always exist in the expansions, and it will always exist. Period. Because it is now a part of the world that you can go to at any time. So when allied races go there that are new, also a Dragthier Death Knight would probably be the coolest thing ever. A dragon Death Knight? Like, come on. That would be fucking cool.
I guess.
The Lich King literally had pet ice dragons.
Is Lich King like the Troll King from Labyrinth?
No, the Lich King was Arthas Menethil, but is now Bolvar 4 Dragon. He has the ability to... There is your Blood Death Knight, there is your Unholy Death Knight, and there is your Frost Death Knight. They possess different elements that allow them to be Knights of Undeath. They have been deemed immortal because they have been resurrected by what was it, Frostmourne, I believe, the sword that is wielded by whoever the current Lich King is. He creates Death Knights. So the fact that Bolvar still exists and he's still sitting in his fucking chair, I know that the crown is destroyed because Sylvanas fucking broke it, that retarded ass bitch. I hope she's dead. Even though she's undead, so I don't even know if she's able to be killed. I never played that raid, so I don't know what happened there. The fact that Shadowlands exists and permanently exists should make it so that all allied races that get created from then all the way up until the foreseeable future, unless they ever just get rid of the Shadowlands, should be able to be Death Knights. Because Darian Mograine will still take you there. If he can still take you there, you can still be trained to be a Death Knight. You could still be raised as a Death Knight. It makes sense for the story. And it's the same thing that pisses me off when they added new classes and then they bring in Legion Remix and they didn't make a new class hall for them. You can't even play an Evoker right now in Legion Remix. That's stupid. They could have given them 3 artifact weapons. They could have taken the time to come up with it, because you know they have the time. So if they have time to sit here and bullshit for an hour.
Conflict in the office where they're working. There's probably work conflict.
Yeah, there's the people who want to get shit done, and there's people that get invited to go in meetings.
That's what I'm saying. They're probably fighting internally.
There are people that care about this game, and then there's people who care about their paycheck. Yeah. And you can tell which one they are based on how they talk and based on how they do things and whether or not they actually get shit done and listen to their constituents.
Yeah, it sounds like their managers suck, and then there's probably just conflict there. And because if they're sitting here bullshitting in a meeting and these are like higher ups, I can't imagine working for them and trying to communicate could be any fun at all, or any kind of like communications even getting done properly. Because they're too busy sitting here.
I tell you what, guys, if you guys make me enough money, if I make enough money one day, I'm going to fucking buy this company and I'm going to fix this game.
Yeah.
And then I'll move to Fortnite next. Yeah, you heard me. I'm going to take over Fortnite. I'm going to take over World of Warcraft. I'm going to fix all of these games that they have fucked up because they don't listen to their people.
Yeah, I mean, literally any game creator you look at that has listened to their fans, you notice how they're literally the most successful.
Minecraft,
GTA. Well, GTA releases.
They listen to their fans. It's just sometimes it takes a minute for them to get it in there.
Successful when they're listening to their fans. Like, all the least successful ones are...
Minecraft literally figured out a way to make it so that Bedrock players can have mods and add-ons. That was not something that was possible because Java was made solely around mods. So the fact that they were able to, for their people that play their game, they were able to backtrack and make it so that Bedrock could work with mods. Yeah, that tells you that anything is possible because their core code for Bedrock does not work with mods or add-ons. So the fact that they made it work...
Because they went back, yeah.
They actually care about their community. They took the time to get it done, and then they fucking did it. Why can't these other games do it when it's a lot smaller of a problem to fix?
Just lazy.
Look
at Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, the success it's gained. You know, it's because Scott listens to his fans. Like,
and he also listens to their game theories and their lore and everything. And you know what they fucking did to him? They canceled him.
They did, I know. Because how dare he be a Christian white male with a family? How dare he?
Well, also they figured out how to pull up his, like, political donation records.
Like, who cares? But, you know...
And then you know what? Props to Scott Cawthon because he actually said, I'm not sorry. I did what I did, and I'm going to continue doing what I do.
Yeah, he's never been not open about being a Christian person. That's what's hilarious to me. Everyone's acting like it's some big surprise. It's because it's a bunch of dumbasses who follow the game. Like, the fan base is garbage, but again, like, he still tried to cater to them, though, and, like, made successful games.
And the last thing I'm going to say about Five Nights at Freddy's is Yif the Fox. Anyways, we're done talking about Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yif the Fox is crazy. Crazy. But, like, yeah, the point is, like, you see all these other games doing so much better, and it's like, you'd think they'd learn, you know, you'd think they'd take notes there.
Like, I will give Blizzard some credit. They have made some changes, but they haven't made the ones that they truly need to. They've made the bare minimum changes to be slightly appealing. Like, I'll give them that. That is the most that I'll give them right now until they actually fix shit, make shit more customization, make shit more customizable, and then fix all of these, like, inconsistencies.
Portion of our campaign at midnight, and I feel like we certainly are going to look at how the Tauren view their mythologies, perhaps later in The Last Titan.
Okay, good. Let's talk about add-ons. The WoW creator Polka TV said, given the upcoming removal of many boss mod tools, how do you plan to preserve the intended difficulty of encounters once these tools are no longer available?
So yeah, this is a great question. For some extra context, I think folks are going to see in the next day or two, as some of the media interviews we've done in the last day go out, that we are rolling out so changes to the add-on API with the launch of Midnight. And so that is going to remove the ability for add-ons to read in real time combat state and combat information specifically. One of the big reasons why we're doing this with the launch of a new expansion is so that we can really build all of our combat, our encounters, around that expectation, around this new ecosystem. As we've been discussing over the course of the year, really the main goal...
Oh yeah, they also killed, like, all of their add-on creators. Blizzard. World of Warcraft, like, just killed all of their add-on creators. Because they're changing their UI and they're changing their add-on API, which makes it so that no longer can an add-on read the combat interface, so they can't... No longer will deadly boss mods works, which is a thing that makes it so that you hear a noise or you get a game warning when a character is about to use a spell that's going to kill you. It no longer works. Once this new thing comes out, that add-on's not going to work. Any add-on similar to that's not going to work. They've also made it so that now LVUI is going to probably get shut down because they're fucking up the interface so much. What?
I don't understand your nerd talk. You have to do it. You have to say words that I understand.
You know what I have on my game that makes my game very simple looking and all that?
Yes.
They're making it so that that doesn't work anymore and I'm not going to be able to use it.
Oh, so you...
So now I have to have my game... No. So now what I have to do is I have to have my game look like this. It is way more complicated to look at. I don't have as many toolbars for my spells and abilities. I have to learn their interface because even though they've changed it so much, and I don't want to look at all this.
Yeah, they're taking away your ability to have like a different viewpoint. Like they're gonna lose all their old fans is what they're doing. They're dumping all their old fans. Like, because I only played this long time ago, and I don't even recognize the one you have because I'm old school. So yeah, they're just dropping more of their old OG fans, and they're gonna lose a lot of their fan bases that like kind of started the whole thing. So because they got too into the stuff that doesn't matter about the game and stopped caring about the content and like what you said, what the fans want, they don't care. So
one of the big reasons why we're doing this with the launch of a new expansion is so that we can really build all of our combat, our encounters around that expectation, around this new ecosystem. As we've been discussing over the course of the
New
year,
ecosystem.
main
Yeah, that
goal
proves you're
was
trying to
shift
dump out your old
a
players.
level playing field where external tools are no longer felt to be required in order
They're
to
trying to
engage in the
appeal to
content,
a younger.
Well, you want to know what's funny? This game doesn't really advertise. The only reason why they get new players is because the old players are bringing them in.
That's what I was about to say. They're trying to attract. They're trying to like.
They're trying to.
Do like younger people, but they're not going to bring any new younger people in.
They're trying to cater to a community that they do not reach out to begin with.
You know what else is even funny though? They're not even be able to get younger people in because younger people aren't interested in this type of game anymore. Like that's just the facts. Like it's a popular game because of its old fans, like you said.
I'm probably one of the youngest people that plays this game still.
Like because everyone's out playing other games. Like young people don't play things like this. They're playing Minecraft. They're playing Fortnite. They're playing, they're playing a completely different style.
Or they're playing this game, but a different type of it. Yeah, they're playing Magic the Gathering. They're playing New World. They're playing.
Pokemon has its own kind of thing like set up now that's similar to like they're trying to be like.
Yeah, they got this new one coming out. What is it? Z to A.
So it's like even Pokemon's like updating to.
And then if you don't like Pokemon, there's Pal World.
There's Pal World. There's just all kinds of games now that are like dominating. Like I said, Animal Crossing being one of the huge ones that like you see people literally swarm to it, even if the community sucks. Because
also, if you think Animal Crossing is the #1 fan service game, you should look at Terraria.
Oh yeah, that's right. Terraria is like one of the top ones too. I forgot.
They literally do collabs. They managed to get collabs with other games because people ask for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know Terraria is really good.
They've collabed with Don't Starve. They've collabed with I can't even remember because it's like they're ones that I don't care about, but I know other people cared a lot more about. Stardew Valley.
I was about to say Stardew Valley because of the cat stuff. Yeah.
Meowmere.
Yeah.
The sword.
Yeah, the cat sword, and that's another successful game.
And that's a sword that gets used to make a canonical sword in the Terraria, the ultimate sword known as Zenith. You have to use Meowmere as part of the crafting recipe. They implemented collab items to make the ultimate item, which they created brand new because the last time that I had played Terraria, the Terrorblade was the greatest thing that you could wield. Now the Terrorblade gets actually used to make Zenith.
You know what's funny too is Stardew Valley was like basically started by one person alone, and it's gotten so popular because again he caters to his fans. But it's literally just one freaking person that started it with no help, pretty much. And like he started at the very bottom, and yet he's probably one of the most famous game creators ever. Concerned date. Like everyone knows who he is.
At a competitive level. And also to shift some of the things that we are testing when it comes to difficulty, maybe away from Twitch reactions and how quickly you can run to the circle or diamond marker that your add-on told you to run to, and rather to more of the collaborative coordination that have traditionally marked cooperative PvE in WoW. But the goal is to keep difficulty largely the same. In terms of how many pulls it takes to down a boss for your guild, whether you are aiming for ahead of the curve and defeating Heroic, or whether you're pushing into Mythic or whatever else, overall it should take you about the same amount of time to accomplish what you're used to accomplishing. It's just that difficulty may come in slightly different places. Without add-ons to solve mechanics for you in real time, it may well be the case that we just need to give you a couple more seconds to get into place, or that there should be one fewer add to interrupt, or what have you. We are going to be rolling out, we're actually going to be launching Alpha with a raid boss available for testing early on. We have a ton of native improvements to the UI, like boss timers, boss alerts, so you can see a timeline of upcoming boss abilities, nameplate improvements, cooldown manager improvements, and more to, again, kind of create a unified experience that's baked into the UI. But the goal at the end of the day is for difficulty to remain where it was, and we will be making tuning changes in alpha and beta, as well as, of course, once these encounters are live, to make sure that things are landing in the right place and players still feel well equipped to overcome the challenges in front of them.
Following that, Sped Bros on Reddit asked, what is your plan for upkeep and development of these now built-in add-ons?
Yeah, so I think the functionality that we're pulling into the base UI is something that, as always, we're going to be evolving in response to player feedback. Again, part of why we're very excited to get people having a look at these right at the start of alpha is so that we have the entirety of the alpha and beta cycle to iterate on them before midnight launches. And then, of course, as always, even after the game is live, we're going to continue to add functionality based on the player requests and the feedback that we're receiving.
Ossicrond on the WoW forums said, sculpting your UI over the years is almost like working on a classic car. Fine-tuning with different fonts, color palettes, and even different types of glow alerts. What is the depth of the available customization, and are there plans to expand it in the future?
So there's a couple of facets to this question. First off, couldn't agree more that I think UI customization and using add-ons to tailor the aesthetic of a UI, how information is presented and where it's presented, I think are one of the hallmarks of the WoW experience and really one of the strengths of the game for going on 21 years now. There are no plans to eliminate or remove that. The approach we've taken in changing the way the add-on API works really is just focused on access to that real-time information. There'll be details coming out very soon from our UI engineering team on exactly how this works. But whereas in the past, when we have restricted aspects of what add-ons can do, we tend to just kind of wall off sections of our UI and say add-ons can't touch this at all. But when it comes to things like nameplates or unit frames and the like, that would have been an unacceptable approach here because that aesthetic customization is so essential. So there's a brand new system that's been created where essentially pieces of information about what's going on in combat are put in a black box. And add-ons can paint that box pink or yellow or green or make it bigger or smaller, but what they can't do is know exactly what's inside the box and use that to drive logic. In addition to that, the new UI functionality that we're adding, whether it's improved nameplates or whatever, have extensive customizations in terms of size, shape, location, aesthetic, all of the edit mode functionality and more. But we have no intent of pulling back in any way from the aesthetic customization that add-ons have always offered.
Cutting to the chase, Felfer on the WoW forums asked, does this mean that existing add-ons like Deadly Boss Mods, Plater, or Details are going to break?
They will change significantly. I think certainly, day one, if you're logging into alpha and you try to enable them, I do not believe they will work due to changes in the API, but that's standard for any new expansion release. We are inviting the authors of a vast range of add-ons into our first week of alpha, so that's going to be coming up in just the next few days, to get their hands on these changes, to give us feedback about how we can better support their ongoing development. But yes, when it comes to the specific ability to read and process combat information and use that to drive logic, that is going to be changing, and that will affect those add-ons.
Okay, give me one more. This comes from Herrix on the WoW forums. Herrix said, what are the plans regarding improvements to the default raid frames? In the effort to reduce the need for add-ons, raid frames are a major pain point for healers, where the default Blizzard raid frames are basically unusable without at least some external modification.
So yeah, we also have improvements coming to raid frames, definitely with healers in mind. If you're, let's say, a Resto Druid who wants to be able to see all of your HOTS on a target, that's something that we agree is very important and needs to be baked into the default functionality. Same with encounter designers calling out major buffs and debuffs and things that you need to know in an encounter, whether you're a healer or just a raid leader wanting to keep tabs on the state of the encounter that way. And of course, as mentioned earlier, add-ons will still be able to customize the look and the feel and the size and the overall presentation of raid frames. There just won't be certain functionality that is driving logic based on whether you happen to have a certain debuff or not, but all the rest should still be available.
E. Chow on Blue Sky has a couple of questions. Given the connection to the Army of Light, the Sunwell and Blood Elves in general being their main rival in the Burning Crusade, will we see Draenei play any sort of role? Also, will Quel'Thalas be, with Quel'Thalas being part of the main world now, will there be any updates to Forsaken Lands?
So the Draenei, obviously will be part of the fight, part of the battle that we're waging against the Void. But this chapter is focused on the Blood Elves and the Blood Elves struggle. with some trolls, and we're gonna really be leaning in there more than we are with the Draenei. Opportunities, will come up for the Draenei to have their moment in the light, as it were.
Yeah, and as it goes for like changes to Forsaken Lands, well, there's some minor changes as we've added Quel'Thalas and Zul'Aman into the main body of the Eastern Kingdoms to connect them in. So there's a tunnel in the Forsaken Lands that does connect it in. We are going to see some Forsaken characters as well. We're actually going to be working with a little bit of a deep cut, but Alonsis Fowl, the Archpriest, is going to be a character who appears and has a couple interesting interactions and chats with Eretor and Liadrin and others. So we're going to continue to build out Forsaken story as we continue.
Yeah, I think looking at how this is playing out.
Somebody ask about
We're
Gilneas.
very excited by some of the reception we've heard from Gamescom onwards about the changes to Silvermoon, Eversong, and more. Honestly, there was a bit of anxiety internally about the idea of revisiting an old location as for one of our zones, whether some players would view that as like somehow lesser than coming up with a brand new place. But I think as people see this full splendor of Silvermoon, get a chance to revisit Eversong and what it's become all these years later, I think the excitement around that really excites us too, because we'd love to be able to tell more new stories in some of the iconic locations that resonate throughout everyone's fandom of Warcraft and what Azeroth is about. And so that will mean updating those locations, and I think that's something that we're excited to do more of as we look forward. Of course, The Last Titan will see us going back to Northrend, so that'll be a story for another day.
I think we for sure discovered that we can tell different stories when we go to old places and see how characters have changed, see how the spaces have changed. It's been a really cool opportunity to do that in Midnight.
Let's shift to some class talk. Faxia on Reddit asked, are you planning on adding any new specs that can tank or heal for existing classes?
Not right now in Midnight. I think Devourer, Demon Hunter, and that new range DPS spec for them is our focus right now. But I think we've seen, whether it's this or whether it's augmentation, there's excitement around the idea of established classes getting new specs, and so that is something I think we are likely to explore as we look to the future.
Zerotics on Reddit asked, throughout the War Within, some classes and specs received visual updates, and as a monk player, the update to Vivify was very appreciated. Are there any other classes or specs that can be revealed to be getting updated visuals in Midnight?
Yeah, there's a couple really cool Apex talents. So Apex talents are the new talents you'll be able to learn at the bottom of your spec tree, and a lot of these have some fantastic visuals. Ones that jump out to me are the augmentation, where you summon a bronze dragon version of yourself from the future to fight alongside you for a little bit. The Frost Mage one as well, you summon a Hand of Frost that chases down your target and attack them. And so these are some of the new abilities that are going to get some new custom visuals. As far as looking back at older visuals, as was the case with Vivify, this is something that we tend to do as we continue to build smaller patches. Most of our efforts for Midnight was building all the new stuff, but then as we continue building out the game, we look to the future. This is where we look back at, as we did with Vivify, find abilities where we can raise the floor and say okay, this one has aged not as gracefully as the rest of our visuals, and we can bring it up to par with the rest.
Following that, we found a question from Nihenna on the German forums, and Nihenna asked, will the void/light topic be picked up in any additional class specs in the future? For example, Sunwell effects for a Holy Paladin, or perhaps void powers for a Warlock?
I don't know about void warlocks quite yet, but we do have a existing void themed spec, the Shadow Priest, my beloved Shadow Priest, which has a new ability, Tentacle Slam, which replaces Shadow Crash, and it is a giant voidy tentacle that slams down in a line in front of you and has a similar AoE component, but a lot more of a classic voidy Shadow Priest idea to it. We also have on one of our Apex talents, the Discipline Priest has Void Shield, which replaces your Power Word Shield with a Void-themed shield. So there are places where the Void and Light are leaking into our class design.
Going back to the support roles, Neo Sorrow on the EU Spanish forums asked, can we expect anything new regarding the support role in Midnight? Will it be expanded to other classes? Is it considered that it maybe didn't work as expected for augmentation, and perhaps that just becomes a normal damage or healer?
So we're not planning on currently expanding it to other classes, but we're also not planning on changing augmentation to just fit into the existing niches. I think there's a lot of excitement around the idea of support, and I think we've seen players embrace that fantasy. I think we are still iterating on evolving that specialization and getting to a place where we can find a happy medium, where it can kind of realize that fantasy and be effective as someone who bolsters the strength of your allies without also becoming so effective that it feels required in groups and kind of limits composition diversity. I think if we're able to achieve that, hopefully when we're able to achieve that, I do think we would like to look to what other ideas might apply a different fantasy to executing that concept.
I want to switch to the topic of delves. The WoW content creator True
You didn't
Villain
spend enough
Manny,
time on classes.
said with delves integrated into the story, will there be certain scenarios that are locked in as we level? And will there be additional story in those alternative scenarios with delves?
Yeah, as we move through